Guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. First off, I want to apologize if there's any glare in my glasses. Having a little bit of an eye sitch right now, and I can't put my contacts on, so glasses it is for today. And ooh, was I hoping that the last video I made about the Paul brothers would be the first and the last, but yet here we are, because the has begun. If you missed that video, then I will be sure to leave it up here somewhere in the cards for you to check out. But basically, I discussed the Paul brothers and their then recent announcement that they would be moving to Puerto Rico. And why were they moving, you might ask? Of course, because they were enchanted by the music, the food, the amazing people, the scenery. Yeah, no. They're moving there for the same reason that all wealthy people move there. For tax purposes. But you see, I'm going to try to do something a little different this video because I really don't want to talk negatively about outsiders moving to Puerto Rico. So take this as a video to all people looking to move to the island of Puerto Rico, whether it be for tax reasons secretly or whether you truly are enchanted by all the reasons I just mentioned. It's just that this particular situation pertains to the Paul brothers, so we're gonna start there, but let this be a lesson for everybody. And this is me on the outside here in New York talking about this, but this is how strongly I feel about this, okay? So a couple of years ago, the Paul brothers embarked on a new endeavor by entering the world of boxing. And while it seemed like a quick money-grabbing stunt in the beginning, the brothers have actually been sticking to it. And Logan Paul, as a matter of fact, has a fight coming up against Floyd Mayweather Jr. Yes, legendary boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. Why? I have no idea. Money? I mean, isn't that the reason for everything? So with that said, let's discuss where we are now. If we're talking about the brothers continuing their boxing careers, then the move to Puerto Rico could be a smart one. Boxing is a huge sport on the island where some of the most successful boxers have come out of. There they can probably get a better sense of training, learn more about the culture of boxing. The truth is, Puerto Rico has so much to offer them. But what do they offer Puerto Rico? If you don't know why I'm discussing this right now, you see, sometime either last week or the end of the week before, Jake Paul uploaded a video to his Instagram of him and a friend riding a vehicle on a beach in Puerto Rico, an act of which is completely illegal because it's super dangerous for the wildlife that's native to the beach. Not to mention, it's currently turtle nesting season. There is another car on the beach, and a lot of people are speculating that that was actually Logan, although it hasn't really been confirmed. But of course, as always, if you guys know or hear anything different, be sure to leave it in the comments down below. Now, why are Puerto Ricans so upset about this? Well, other than the obvious reason I just mentioned of the dangerousness and illegality of the act, this is just one incident that shows the potential ignorance, or should I say lack of knowledge, when it comes to living on the island. It's easy to fall in love with Puerto Rico. The food, the people, the beaches. But you see, that's not all it is. While the Isla del Encanto is beautiful at first sight, the island has been plagued with many issues for many years that extend from domestic violence to political corruption to high unemployment rates. You see, as I said, this move to Puerto Rico could have been a smart one. And it still could be, let's be real. I mean, they haven't even been there that long. I just like to think that most people do their research on new places when they're moving there, even if it's just a new neighborhood in your city, let alone an entire island that, while it's technically considered America, well, we all know the deal with how far that goes. The reason I say that this move could be a smart one is because what are Jake and Logan Paul? Influencers. And what do influencers have a lot of? Influence. You got it. While it's not their responsibility to fix the island, of course, Puerto Rico is a place that's been tainted by a lot of bad news over the last few years. I mean, the hurricane, the earthquakes, the renuncia movement. Bringing light to these issues and how they've been mishandled or ignored are things that people like me with a small platform are trying to do. I personally think that it would be a super strong and mature act for them to learn about these issues and also learn about what they can do and what they can get other people to do to help. You see, it would be mutually beneficial. It would show that they aren't actually there just for tax purposes and actually care about trying to take care of the new place they call home. And for the island, it would help raise awareness of what's going on to Jake and Paul's millions and millions of followers. The bigger the movement, the stronger we can be. And while of course this wouldn't be the solution to the problem, it can certainly be a start. The last video I made about them discussed the issue of gentrification and its repercussions And the town that they moved to, Dorado, Puerto Rico, is the heart of it. I recommend watching Bianca Graulau's video on rich people moving to Puerto Rico and how it's negatively impacting the island. I'll make sure to leave it down below. In it, she rides through Puerto Rico and shows how the island is literally segregated. Rich, luxurious mansions on one side and worn down, poor homes right on the other. Please go check it out if you haven't. It's super eye-opening and just gives you that first-hand look on what things really are over there. As I mentioned earlier, of course, it's not their responsibility to fix the island, but with their power and their influence, it really gives them the opportunity to be big advocates for change. I don't doubt that they fell in love with Puerto Rico. It's a beautiful place, but at this moment and for many, many years, the island's been suffering. Its people have been suffering. Now other beings, the wildlife, who are extremely vulnerable to what we as humans do, they're also gonna suffer. Now I'm someone sitting here in New York City on the outside looking in, born as a Puerto Rican descendant, and while it's easy for me to sit back and judge, we all need to band together and do more for our children, our children's children, so they know the culture, so they know the richness that we have and have grown up with and are as people. And watching the island be constantly mistreated or mishandled truly does break my heart. And at this point, we need to really put our foot down, because when outsiders come in, it should not be to change it or to colonize it or to make it into something it's not, but rather improve and teach and learn from. Now my part of the script is over, and this is totally going to be me rambling off on a tangent for a little bit, but I just want to say that some of the most encouraging and sweet and kind words that I've gotten have been from people on the island of Puerto Rico. I think that if you guys watch any of my past videos, you understand. Don't mind the train in the background. This has been me trying to film this whole time, but I'm not gonna let it stop me. You're not taking my moment. If you watch any of my videos, then you know just how proud I am and how excited I am to share my culture and to relate to all of you guys and see that we truly are all the same, which is crazy. But you guys have really just outdid yourself with all of the love that you guys send. I know I mentioned it a couple of videos ago, but the fact that we hit 30,000 subscribers is insane to me. I can't believe there's that many of us. And right now, this issue really hit close to my heart, because it just shows that, like, even from a few years ago, I'm only, I'm 28. Did I really almost forget? I'm 28, and even from when I was younger, 28 years ago, from the first time my parents took me to Puerto Rico to visit when I was 6 months, and all the times I've gone since then, and just how things are really rapidly changing in terms of gentrification and big business taking over, and people on the island feeling like they can't even afford to live there, or can't find work, or looking for reasons to leave. Even if they don't want to, they just have to. They don't really have another choice. I really wish there was something that I could do alone, but I think that this is something that we're all gonna have to speak on. We're all gonna have to share, because that's the only way that people will really understand the negative impacts that all of these different factors are having. So I'm gonna stop there because I don't wanna get too crazy into it. There's another train. But as I mentioned just now, I do want to give a big thank you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for supporting. I love you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye. Highs and lows, highs and lows. It's all the same. Highs and lows, highs and lows. Keep all your game.